Right, I think we're on here. I think we're on. Let's just have a look. Yes, I think we're on. Okay, so we're 40 minutes late. I'm never late. This is when you need cooking in your life, actually. It really is. When you feel stressed and things have gone wrong, this is exactly when you need to cook, because it relaxes you. And I was stood here having had an awful time of it, and I thought, actually, what I can just do now is make my tea. So I'm going to make my tea. It is Bonfire Beans. It's October, but that's okay. Bonfire Beans, and it's lovely. And it's lovely for lots of reasons. A, because it's going to be cooked really well. But we're using molasses, and molasses has got a really lovely flavour to it. So I'm cooking some onion here in a pan which is very heavy. It's Le Creuset. We'll just give you a look of it. We'll just give you a look at this pan. This pan here cost a fortune, but I spent that money years ago, decades ago now, 2 decades ago. And it's really heavy. You could definitely kill someone with it, and it's that heavy. But this kind of cookware is what you need to cook well. It does actually matter because it's so heavy. It's got so much heat in it. There's quite a lot of heat in it, and it's going to pass these pass the heat really nicely through these ingredients, really evenly, and it's protecting the food from the heat as well. And that's very important. If you've got a thin pan that's not very good at conducting heat because it's just cheap metal, it doesn't cook as well. So, you know, do yourself a favour and invest in some all right cookware. Scoville is a great brand that cooks very nicely. Le Creuset is top of the range job. You know, so if you're at Le Creuset, great. Get yourself one of these. You'll need one in your life, and considering how much an iPhone costs, you know, per month, or an equivalent handset, a Le Creuset is actually quite cost effective. So this dish rewards patience, and you can see that the onion is becoming golden. And wouldn't it be easy now to burn? You know, but what we're seeing here is some fond, F-O-N-D, and it's just those brown bits starting in the pan, and that's what we want. I cut the onions into small pieces because it makes it much easier to get a good forkful of this. This is red kidney beans and some tomatoes and molasses and spices and everything. And with the red kidney beans, I imagine you standing outside and you've got a bowl and you've got some mash and you've got your beans and then you've got your fork. The last thing you need is for things to be dropping off. So your red kidney beans and your sauce and your onion sits nicely. That's one of the that's the key thing, I think, when I'm designing a dish. I'm just thinking how it's going to actually be on the fork. So we're seeing some brown come here. It's a little on the toasty side, if we're honest. But it's okay. It's all right. Now, so you heat your pan. Wait. Heat the oil in the pan. Wait. Put the ingredients in, and if it's onions, put in a little pinch of salt because it helps avoid the burn. Now, there's no burn in here at the moment. It's looking nice and brown. This rewards patience, however, this whole situation, because if you can just stop yourself from doing exactly what I'm doing and filling, you can get a really lovely translucency to those onions and a corresponding beautiful flavour. So I bashed that garlic clove, squashed it down and put that in. So what I can smell now is some lovely garlicky onion flavour. So just leave that to caramelise. I'm not going to force you to sit and watch that actually, because I'm just going to cook at the same time my tomato puree. So I put a couple of tablespoons of tomato puree in. And if you're watching this and you've not cooked your tomato puree before, then this is a great moment for you because you're just learning for the first time that cooking tomato puree sends your dishes to another level. So it's bright red, really, and it tastes bright red. And once it's cooked down, and we'll just watch it here in the pan, once it's cooked down, it will not be bright red anymore. It will go darker red, and correspondingly on the tongue it will lose that sort of slightly metallic taste actually. And depending on which one you use, but you know, they've all got the same sort of raw flavour because it's just raw tomato, so you need to cook it, and it's changing colour here in front of our eyes, isn't it? So that's super. So that's something that really needs to be done here. I need to just let this happen. I've got my heat on very low under this pan actually now, and I'm just getting ready for the next ingredients. So the next ingredient going in are the spices, and we've got smoked paprika here, and we've got ground cumin, and we're putting in both of those into this oil, and the oil and the heat and also the other ingredients will allow these spices to bloom. So we'll just put, so this is a half teaspoon measure. These spice jars are notorious for not being wide enough. Someone someday, way back when, decided that spice jars would be really quite tiny. I usually decant actually into wider jars because the smaller jars drive me a little crazy. So we're going to bloom these spices, and I'm just going to add a little bit more oil. You could add a little bit of water. So we just keep them nice and moist, and we allow them, along with the end of the cooking of the tomato puree, to bloom, and we smell this aroma coming through. That's looking a bit dry. I don't want to add any more oil actually now. That's had enough of that. So we'll just add a bit of water here. And you can just see how all that's relaxed out. Doesn't that look better now? So keep a little jug of water. I often have, well, more or less always have a little jug of water or a cup of water to my side. And that looks much nicer now. That's much happier actually. You can just tell by looking at it that that's happier. So we can just let that sit for a little bit longer. Now then, let's just switch angle. So when you're cooking, it is not about doing things in mega quick time. Actually, home cooking is about coming back to yourself and relaxing and enjoying the process, because food that is cooked when you're happy is a lot better. It just is. It's also, you know, avoiding stress in the kitchen is important. We all have enough stress in our lives. We don't need any more, and we certainly don't need any more when we're cooking our evening meal. This is when we relax. Then if you have a glass of wine, if that's your thing, well, that's fine, isn't it? This is all now looking lovely and is happily relaxing, which I'm very pleased about. And the next stage will be to put these two ingredients into deglaze the pan. And deglazing the pan just means that this liquid helps the brown bits get off the pan. That's what that actually means. So we're going to deglaze the pan. What you'll see is that, and it's a good tip for you, it's good to do this actually, is to have your ingredients organised in front of you. So the recipe will sit, get everything out, get stuff in the pan or get it prepared in little dishes. That's always good. You know, mise en place, put in place. So you put one set of ingredients, use them, and then you can just simply lift them away. And I've taught people to cook, and the feedback on that idea is, you know, that's great because you're constantly moving things away, you're keeping neat, you're keeping tidy, you're keeping clean, and at the end you've basically cleared up before you even sit down. And that's the secret to stress-free cooking. And if you're not stressed, you've got good food coming out and you're not wasting any time, money, etc. So let's just now switch to this other angle, you can see how beautiful that looks now, really soft. It's got a bit of structure. Those onions, I didn't want to cook those onions so that they were like suitable for a hot dog, you know, like completely falling apart. There's some structure in there. I'm going to put just a bit of soy sauce in. Apple cider vinegar's gone in there. A deglaze is often associated with a heat. I didn't want to turn it up. There's no need really. That's just evaporating off. Because really, I need the heat up for the deglazing and then back down again. So we're not stressing these ingredients and allowing them to just relax. So those ingredients are gone, my deglazing ingredients, and I'm moving the next set of ingredients into place. Just while that relaxes, I'm just getting rid of the waste and the rubbish, pushing this away, and I'm putting everything on a tray, and then I'll carry the tray through to the dishwasher at the end of this and then take my meal through. So it's all about moving sets of ingredients through into the pan and away. You should not, at the end up with a bomb site in your kitchen. So we're just going to put some tomatoes in and some red kidney beans. And we're also going to put in some molasses. Now then, the best way to put my glasses on, best way to get the molasses in is confidently all at one go. Don't put teaspoon in and then try and get another teaspoon, you know, or 1 tablespoon. Just get it all in at once and accept that it can't really be accurate. You could pour it into a container sat on some weighing scales. That would be a way to keep it really accurate. And that sticky spoon has gone on its own into the sink. So this molasses adds a really lovely colour, shine, most importantly flavour. So let's get a little bit more heat now up into there. You know, molasses is actually, to me at least, on my palate, iron rich. So tomatoes into my rubbish bin, through to recycling. And this bench in front of me has got clear, and that's what you want. You constantly need to be slightly clearing away. It's a sign of somebody in control of themselves. Just turning that up a little bit more. Kidney beans going in. And also, if you've got your ingredients out and you put them out, if you're using one of my recipes in the order in which I use them, then that's a visual check as well. Vegan cookery, certainly mine, there's plenty of ingredients going on. It's not for the faint-hearted, is it? Because you know you've got to make a lot of effort to get lots of ingredients in and get lots of flavour, because you can't just rely on a piece of, you know, an animal product basically sitting there. So just while this heats up and cooks through, I'm just going to put some mash into the pan. Just check on the monitor that you can see that that's okay. So I made this earlier. I used a potato ricer. If you're not familiar with a potato ricer, have a look online for one. It mashes potato. Throw away your potato masher. Forget that. Just forget it. They're not great. And I'm just going to put a bit of nooch in. But I put butter and soy milk earlier. I'm carefully putting each ingredient I use onto a tray so it's all tidy. Let's just see, we need to put some mustard in. Put a $1 for that. How much do I put in? How do I know how much to put in? Well, I'm just heating that portion up And so I just want it to run through the mash. I want to be able to see it. I might need a bit more actually. So we'll just have a look and use our good judgment on whether that whole grain mustard, whether there's enough of that in. So mash is good because you can do it in advance and then you can just leave it in the fridge and then do what I'm doing here. Do this, don't put it in the microwave, do this. This is how to heat your mash up. Some butter in there, or you can put oil in there. Can season it. Obviously you're going to cook some peeled potatoes, you're going to put them in water, put the heat under the pan and bring the heat up. Don't put boiling water over potatoes. But this method of heating up mashed potato, two things about it. A, you can see that it's nice and smooth. If you think it looks a bit dry, you can add something. None of that is possible. You've got no control really with the microwave. So here we are. Now on this spatula, what I can really feel at the moment is how hard everything is. This needs to simmer for a little while. So I'll have done a big studio clean down, etc., etc., and this will just simmer away for half an hour, 40 minutes. So that's what this needs to do. And what will happen is the feeling on the spatula will change and it will stop feeling hard and it will start feeling just soft and unctuous. But even with, 5 minutes, it's looking pretty good already. I'm not going to put any more mustard through that. I think that's pretty good. Right, so just wanted to talk about how this is on your palette. So on your palettes, you've got a very soft item here. Let's just turn him down a bit. You've got a very soft, squashy item here with your mash. It's lovely, it's comforting. It's exactly what you want actually in your mouth. Especially if you're standing outside and it's bonfire night and you're being a child again, although you're an adult. That's great, and it's lovely because it's got that Mo mustard in it, whole grain mustard in it, and it's got that sort of characteristic flavour of that mustard, which is lovely. It's got some butter in there, so it's nice and smooth. And of course I've tested it, so well I wrote it and then I tested it and I put it in a bowl and it was all lovely and I ate it down. I thought, oh that's good, yeah they'll like that. Made a few changes and stuff. Anyway, so it was just when I was walking the dog today I thought, oh I haven't actually come up with anything to put on the top, and it does need something because it's got this beautiful mash and then the lovely sense of this tomatoey molasses bonfire beans on the top. It's smoky with a smoked paprika, but that wasn't it. That's not quite enough. That's not quite finished actually. So I'm just going to share with you what sprang to mind as the perfect thing. So my favourite sauerkraut is this one. I get this in Asda. This is the best. I can't get enough sauerkraut, full stop, but this is by far the best. And obviously it's the most expensive. So these two elements need something sharp and crisp and almost vinegary on the top to clean the palate. And with these two elements and this on the top, you've got everything comes alive. So this is where it's at. This is also good, sauerkraut. And then apple, it's perfect. So what I did before is just slice the apple and put it into some lemon juice, or sprinkle a bit of lemon juice over the top. And then I've put some of this in with the apple. So I've got some lemon juice, some sauerkraut, and also just some of this now going in, which is smoked oil, actually. Cotswold Gold, extra virgin, cold pressed, rapeseed oil, smoked. And that is your bonfire flavour. Next week we're going to do parkin, I think. If you had some ginger here, you could we'll do one grate. It would add a little bit of heat. I might put that into the recipe at the end because I can't stop myself. But yes, that's it. So let's just have a look at this coming out. Let's just turn him off. So yes, so you want, how do we do this? How do we make this look nice on the plate now? So let's just get all of this together. Leave behind any little dry bits that have come. And I do like my food sort of separate. I think that's what I'm going to do with that. So this will be deconstructed later, and this all will go back in the pan, but let's not force you to watch this. So we are just putting, let's put this down, some beans there onto that mash, and we'll finish there. And let's just take some little pieces of apple and make sure that that little finger of apple is nice and light. Don't like that there. And there you go. You know, that is a really lovely dish. I haven't tasted it because I know it's right, but you could add some salt, more salt and pepper if you wanted. Some salt went in at the start before I came on air, and that I know that that's plenty, but of course season to taste at the end if you wish. There is some salt and some pepper in the mash. So there you go. So bonfire beans with a mustard mash topped with sauerkraut salad with little shards of tart apple. Yes, it's a perfect dish, and happy bonfiring, especially if you're eating this.